All right. Good morning for our friends in Seattle. Good afternoon for our friends in Europe. Thank you for joining early. We're going to do some pregame on our weekly office hours call. We will do proper introductions at 9 a.m. sharp, but we usually get more questions than we are able to answer during this webinar. So we're going to do some questions that we have pending from previous sessions. So if you already asked the question, it's likely to be published later on, and we'll be answering that if you started earlier. So I wanted us to start quickly with a question from Rashak that's been there for a while. So I wanted to make sure that we can cover some of this, and it has an interesting kind of thing that we can demo. And I might need some of Tony's help. So can you say a quick hello, Tony, there, just to make sure that you're around?
Hello. Sorry, I was eating an apple and I didn't want to crunch up the audio waves.
All right. Yeah, I know what apples do when to microphones. So Rashak's question was how to hide enum fields in a form view and display them in deck view and make it editable via action. I don't want quick edit options. Some formula to hide fields in form and visible in edit view. So what I was thinking is we do a quick application. We start with Spec, Tony, and then I will try to do what Rashak is doing. So there's like a few requirements on his application. The first one is that in a form view, the dropdown is not available. The second one is that he wants to edit the options in that form view from an action. And the third one is that he wants to show the result of that change in a deck view. I think those are the three things. Does that sound kind of what the question is? I want to make sure that I don't misrepresent.
Yeah, that sounds like what it means to me.
Okay, so let's try it. I want to, not polygon, AppSheet /spec. Any favorite animal, or should we do it with apples? Now that you were doing apples?
Yeah, let's do some apples.
All right, this app has apples. And let's put some attributes into this. What would you suggest we do? Red or green?
Yeah, do red or green.
See, red or green, so I'll start for red or green. We have some red apples and some green apples. And let's do good apples and bad apples. Yes. Okay, so we have a couple of attributes here, right? The apple can be red or green, and it could be good or bad. Anything else? I think that's enough for us to achieve the goal.
Yeah,
right?
That seems good.
Yeah, it seems that what Rashak wants to do is he wants to display green or red in, for example, this second row here. Instead of saying this is a placeholder text, it's like he's just going to show that value. And he wants the user to edit that value by clicking in an action here. So I think if you just create that app, I'm going to call it enum actions. I think we can try to do that. I'm trying to do this. There's a chance that it may not work. Let's assume that we're going to get there.
I think the first thing you should do is remove those formatting rules, which are coloring the green apples red and blue or something. It's slightly confusing.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to go to UX, format rules. We have a whole bunch of format rules. Let's get rid of all of them or disable them. And disable is pretty much what it says. Don't run.
That's new to me. I didn't know we had that disable button. That's good stuff.
We're going to hear about it in Feature Friday. So yes, it was my understanding, because I think this came from I think Praveen introduced this one. And it's all about not having to recreate the whole thing if you just didn't want it to turn it off temporarily. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so now they're not running. So we have our data. Now, if I go to a form view for a particular apple, you'll see that the enums here are status and status 2, right? These are the actual enums. These are the values, good and bad, green and red. And he doesn't want to show that in a form, right? Maybe the form is just description. So let's do that first. to remove a column from a form, you simply go to data, you go to columns, and a quick way of doing that is by applying the show if condition for that particular view. So let's do it for status. You click on the little pencil, you scroll down and find the show if condition, and I guess we just call it false, right? That means that it's always going to be false.
Yeah, that's good.
Too, right? Tony, quick question. I don't know. I don't remember, but I'm doing it also for the other status column. We have this global show if conditions, which means that you have, if you hide something in a form view, you will also hide it in the detail view when you're displaying data, right?
Right. So this is kind of a legacy issue, but the show if constraint that you just edited in the column structure, you can think of that as by default, that's only for the way that the column is displayed in a form. So I think if you press the plus button on the that deck view there to add a new one, you can see that those the enum status columns that you have are hidden in the form. And if you cancel out of that and then go look at a detail view, I believe that, yeah, you can see the status there. So you can see that the show if condition only applies when you're in a form view. Now, there's kind of a global option you can set under UX options in the editor that basically says, hey, my show if rules are global. I want to, if you turn that on, I think it's universal or global, I forget the term.
Yeah.
There we go. Universally apply show if constraints universally.
So it works in Jupiter and other planets. Yes.
Yeah. we're going into outer space with this one.
Yeah, it also works there. It also works there. I think actually I want to keep it off because you cannot do nothing about these two changes here. But maybe it would be nice to see it when we do the actions.
Right. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So that was requirement one is about not showing this stuff in a form. So now they're hidden. So you don't get to change them in a form. So the question now is, I want to apply actions that would do the change, red to green, for example. Let's assume that one. So to do that, we'd go to behavior, and then we would go and create an action for it, right? And how are we doing on time? We have 7 minutes, so I think that's enough for demo. So let's create the green action for a record in the table where the condition status, which was the color, right? The column status. Oh, sorry. It's, status is not, right? This one means not, right? Now that we're talking a little bit about expression. Not red, right? Because I'm making the one for green. So this means if it's, oh, actually the other way around, right? I'm going to turn something green, so I'm going to show this action when something is green, so I can turn it into red. Now my logic is, I'm confused with my logic. This will do it.
Got it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, and we will do something like put the lifesaver icon there, and we'll set the value of a column, and that will be the status column, and we will change it to red. No, to green. Let me see if I got this correctly. If it's not green, allow it to be changed to green. Yeah, perfect. That's the logic there. And then I think we can copy this one and just change very quickly to the red thing, right? So green 2 is actually going to be called red. I just clicked on copy. I'm going to change the formula from green to red, right? And I'm going to change to red. And we're going to change the icon to, well, a heart tend to be red, so let's put this a little heart. Does this sound reasonable? Yes, I think it does. So that's the other option. So we want to change the status via action, not via dropdown. Okay, so let's see. And we save. So now we have the actions. We have the green action because this is red. So if I click on green, it turns into green, right? and I can turn it into red and turn it back into red. My capitalization is not the most uniformly set, but I think in principle it does the job.
If you put quotation marks around the value that you're setting to, it should fix that problem. Just a little side note, not essential.
Okay, let's do it for the sake of completeness very quickly. I'll go back to the value here, red, and I'll just put it in quote marks just to make sure it respects capitalization. I'm going to save. So now we achieve the second objective of this app. First objective, don't show the drop downs in the selections, the enums in the form. The second one is I want to change those selections via actions, and that's what we're doing. We're doing it in only one of the two options, which is green to red, right? We could do it with the second status as well. That is possible, but we can do that. Later. We don't want to spend all of the time right now on that. And what was the third objective? Was to change it directly from here, right, in this view.
Yeah, that's right. I think the person just wanted to have only that action on the deck view there, and maybe also display the current value in the deck view.
Got it. So let's do that first. So that you will be able to do that by going to UX, finding that view, which is called Apple. Here it is, and then select the information that is going to be displayed. So the primary header is going to be the name, and the secondary header is going to be status. So screen, green, red, right? That's what they want, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then one last thing is there's 4 actions displayed on the deck view there. You can configure the actions to hide some of the default actions. So the little garbage can and the pencil are the system actions that get added. Maybe this is extra credit, but
let's do that. Let's get the extra credit. We have 3 minutes, so I think we can afford it. So what you're saying is we go back to behavior, then actions, and then delete. This is one of the system actions, and I want to hide it, right? So I would say do not display. Is that what kind of
that's right.
You're saying, right? All right, let's hide that one. Then edit, let's hide that one too. And there's the add action, which is kind of weird that we have an add action inside of the row.
Yeah, that is a little odd.
Yeah, let's just take it off anyways. It's a bit confusing to me. I'm going to take it off. So now you only have the available action that changes the value to the other, right?
You know what I just realized is that there's a slightly different way to control the way the actions are displayed. I believe in the deck view settings themselves, you can explicitly say which actions you want to show up.
Oh, let's look at that. UX, Apple, which is the view. And then it says show action bar, and then you have which actions you want to show.
Yeah, this is probably a better way to do it because you noticed when you removed the add button, it got rid of it on the actual deck view itself, so it wasn't possible to add anymore. Anyways, just one more place to change these settings.
Yeah, completely took it up. But in this case, I just chose the actions. This is better order, so now I have that full control. So now I go back here, I say save. And by the way, what AppSheet did there was when I tried to remove the add button because it was impossible to add, but technically something you could do on the app, it just ignored me and went back and allowed me, it displayed the action back again. So I would have kind of made a broken app if I had done that. So here it is. The last item that Rishank wants is if I click on the little heart, does it change the name? And it does. So now I can make everything red, right? Now, if you have many options, that means that you will end up with many icons here. And if you end up with many icons here, maybe that's not the best UX for your users because those are tiny icons to press. But at least if they're like, there's just a couple or something like that, then that's a manageable option. So you're able to change those enums through the action in the deck view. And if you click on the record, the status is uneditable. And technically, you cannot even have a form view because I hid the form view altogether. So I think that does the job, right?
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
All right. With that said, I think it's time to mark Rishak's question is answered. And sorry, Rishak, for taking about almost a month to answer your question, but I think we had a good demo there. And with that, I think we have to stop for 5 seconds and start the webinar, which we have other folks joining right now. All right? So, of silence, and we're going to start.